if somebody was going to come to you and say, "Hey, Corny, we know you want to travel. We know you don't get on airplanes. We get all that." Then what? You're a consultant now. Give me 3 or 4 things that if you were going to consult somebody on starting a new promotion that you kind of need to check these boxes. Are there some things just automatically pop out to you that you got to have these things in place or you don't have a damn chance?
Well, I've always said I've got a foolproof way to make $5 million in the wrestling business. Start with $10 million. But past that, my suggestion to anybody would be get a group of talent that fits together. I've seen a lot of startup promotions get schizophrenic with their talent. They're going to bring this guy from Mexico and this guy from Brazil and this guy from the Bronx and this guy's it's one match is a shoot style and next match is the comedy and blah, blah, blah. You can't be schizophrenic. You need to possibly, under your creative guru's direction, come up with a style of wrestling. Mine would be what we attempted to do with Ring of Honor, which was hard-hitting athletic competition between young guys that have not been seen on national television and overused on national television, taking it seriously as a professional competition, and then dribble the humor in with the managers and the referees and the peripheral characters, but keep your in-ring competition somewhat sacred and have guys that can go at a high level. Don't do the thing with the buying up all the big names unless they can still go. Intermix them with your young talent. And do the best you can to compete with a different product than the WWE is presenting or that anybody else is presenting on a major league level, which actually the only product I can't imagine that anybody's presenting these days in wrestling is something where everybody top to bottom on the card actually takes it seriously. Because there's ha-ha everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's ill-placed. It's ill-placed. It's like, I don't know, I have strong opinions about mixing metaphors, if you will, as an illustration, where you have, you're in the middle of I hear announcers doing this. There's a sequence in a ring where the heel is getting heat on the babyface. Hold, strikes, whatever it may be. But they're getting definitive heat on that babyface. And so instead of talking about the harm these strikes are doing, the effects, the end result could be, all these things, you can take them on a really cool ride, they're in the backstory mode. They're completely ignoring the mugging, the assault, the savagery is being completely ignored so they can get their beloved backstory in. And if you just joined us, I didn't just join your ass. What does it matter if I did? Tell me what's going on in front of my very eyes.
Especially if you just joined the middle of the pay-per-view, you've done something wrong to begin with, and I've seen that done. But well, exactly, because the packages told you that story. If you try to oversell the story, then
Amen.
People think they're forcing it down my throat. It must not be true. If you refer to it, oh my God, when he threw that drop kick, he hit him with his bad knee that's just had surgery or whatever, and then go on.
There you go.
That's fine, but they're beating. Well, this is a carefully intricate laid out plot that we've written for you for the previous 6 months. No, just tell them in the package. If they've been watching regularly, they know it anyway. Reaffirm it in the package and then call the match and try to get people interested in what's happening then. And in some cases, if you have a slow spot, what may be coming up later on in the program.
Can you imagine Corny being in a locker room loaded with talented guys, but the most over people on the show are not the guys. It's the ladies. And I got no problem with that, quite frankly, right now. I don't have any issue with that whatsoever, because, and I know that some people, and I know that, you and I discussed this before, casually, about if it's like saying the managers, the one knock on your work in the ring was Corny was so good, he was better than a manager should be. I've heard that. Cowboy told me that one time. He said, hell, he's better than some of the guys we got. His elbows are better, this is better. He said, that's not what I want. I want him to be, whatever. It wasn't that. So,
well, but exactly, and with the And here's the thing, though. What I always try to do was what Heenan did. And make it look like I was really trying to cause harm as best I could, but I was just ineffectual. Rather than, because some managers, their stuff looked phony to me. And I mean, phony, like not like they were pussies, but just phony.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that. But here's the problem. To me, you've got Ronda Rousey, who's not only had incredible star power coming into the thing and is legitimate, but also Charlotte, who, and I have seen a couple of her matches, and of course she's got the genes, the bloodline, but she's a legitimate athlete, and you can tell, and she carries herself well, and that sparked interest in the female division because they were doing things that were so far and above what the other girls in the past have done or been allowed to do in some cases. Meanwhile, the guys' division, they didn't have a Ronda Rousey. Well, they got Brock Lesnar, and he, shows up 2 or 3 times a year and gets paid $16 million or whatever. But that's the thing is, I think the stars aligned for the female division, and that you have a couple of tremendous athletes and one with mainstream credibility, and a lot of interest. And her debut match was the best debut ever. And she knows, and she was a wrestling fan, so she could see it.
She wants to, she wants to learn. She wants to get better. She wants to learn because
that's what you had, though, when Austin and Rock came along 20 years ago at the same time. And then you had a bunch of guys that followed the over that were also getting over and that were doing a bunch of stuff that either nobody else had been able to do or been allowed to do. And the guys were hotter than hell. But now how can you have the guys, do anything that guys previously have not done because of all the hot shotting and the blah, blah, blah. And secondly, where are you going to get a guy now that can get over like that generation did, because all the guys now have been, I don't know if I can say this word, kitty whipped, that are on the roster now. You don't have those Rocks and Austins and guys that will just go out there and say, well, I'll do this and get over, or maybe I'll just go home. I think they keep a lot of the guys under their thumb too much. So what you're seeing now with the girls, they just kind of accidentally let them do it, but it's the same thing that happened 20 years ago with the guys. And now the guys are too timid to follow those guys from 20 years ago, but the girls can.
Yeah, good point. Very good point. I can't disagree with that. I'm waiting for some guy to have the balls to say, I'm going to be different. I'm going to challenge the stereotypical system that we men are supposed to fit in. I'm going to break that mold because I got to get out of this comfort zone, this area, and elevate. I got to elevate. And then when you find out that you're elevating yourself and you're quote unquote getting over, then you find the company's going to give you the biggest hug they could find and line your pockets up with some nice money because you're becoming a star. And we both know.
Well, but also that doesn't always happen. Sometimes it's almost like, who the hell do you think you are? From the way it looks on the outside.
But if you're good enough, here's the thing. With a shortage of stars, in the wrestling business, a male star or a female star has got a lot more leeway because every company, no matter if it's Ring of Honor or Court Bauer's company, MLW, or WWE or Impact or whomever the hell it is, they're all looking for new stars. And any of them that says they're not is lying to you. Come on. That's what that's what sells tickets. That's the deal.
That's exactly right. And that's the thing is you have to find somebody, or there has to be somebody who not only will say, well, I know exactly how to get over and I'm going to go out and do it whether they like it or not. And the problem is that you have to have that somebody that can do that, and it has to work. Or elsewise you've just got Enzo Amore. He was convinced that it was going to, but it didn't work. But that's the thing. You have to have those two pieces, and so far I think it's more on the girls' side than the guys.
Yeah, I agree. And somebody's got to be courageous enough to step out of the shadow, and the company's got to, the WWE, for example, they have to commit to somebody, and that's going to be our guy and to our girl. You need one on each side, or more than one. But if your observations are wrong, then okay, shame on you, but you just got to go to next. That's why you route everything in pencil and get your eraser out. If somebody's give them every chance in the world to get over, and that's not a couple of 3 weeks, by the way. You get them on a roll. Give me some big wins. Give me some memorable moments. You know, whether it's Austin in the beer truck or whatever, Kurt Angle in the milk truck, all that stuff. Was it wrestling? No, it wasn't wrestling, but it was memorable. And every now and then when you drop it in, it kind of lightened the mood and told me who these guys were a little bit more. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, you didn't know?
And his opponent.
Hey everybody, this is Badass Billy Gunn, former WWE superstar. I'm here to give a shout out to Restmore. Because they crossed my mind because I happen to be laying in a bed in Chicago and this bed is awful. But hey, if you want the best sleep of your life, go check out buyrestmore.com for the best sleep. And I mean the best sleep of your life. There's an Amazon link in the description. Now go get some sleep, some good rest, you degenerates.
Order yours today. There's an Amazon link in the description below.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.